We are back here on Girl Talk. We are at Beaufort Memorial Hospital, and it is Nurses Week. We are very excited to have with us Lauren Carroll. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And Mother Carroll. No, Yvonne Manuel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And Miss Karen Carroll, and I want to make sure I get you, RN. You are Chief Nursing Officer here at Beaufort Memorial, and we've had wonderful interviews before.
We have.
It is a pleasure today to have you here as 3 generations of nurses for this special week. So thank you all. And we would be remiss, and I have to say this now, one member of your family is missing. Stephanie is a pharmacist, and she's not here.
Yes, our oldest daughter, Stephanie, is a pharmacist at the hospital.
Which is kind of fun. What we really want to talk about is the nursing profession and how it is growing. We talked a little bit before when the cameras were rolling about the difference between practicing in 1964 versus practicing in 2017 and in between. And it's really been quite interesting. Talk to us in general about the profession. And Karen, I'll let you start.
Well, it definitely has been. In fact, I was talking with someone the other day about just wound care and the changes that have occurred in the more creative, artistic part to the more defined, research-based nursing. And, that's really been nursing over time. Even going back to Florence Nightingale, she's considered the first nursing researcher of the work she did during the Crimean War. And that's just that steady progression and growth that, I've experienced, I know my mother has, and Lauren is learning to experience in nursing, of that constant research on those best practices, on those nursing interventions that make a difference. So, the changes just in my career, certainly in my mother's career, are lightning rod. Yeah.
What do you remember about nursing, and how did you choose nursing as a career? And it obviously had a big impact on your family.
Well, when I was growing up, I wanted to be one of 2 things.
Okay.
These are always good. Either be a school teacher or a nurse, and that came with me my whole life. I got married early, and I had children early. And then when I was 25 years old, I was living in West Virginia, and they had a practical nursing program, which I didn't know about until on a Sunday newspaper. We got the newspapers, and there was a big article there that they were interviewing people that were interested, and I thought, oh my gosh. But I thought, oh, Karen was just going to 1st grade. And then, no, Terry was going 1st grade. She was that's my oldest daughter. There's a year apart between them.
And interchangeable.
Interchangeable, And so I thought, oh, I can't go because, they didn't have
little kids.
So my husband said at that time, he says, "You can go. I'll take Karen with me when there's school." So I thought about that, and then I thought, I don't know. I was very
not sure if I wanted to do it or not.
And he said to me, he says, "You want to do it all your life? You've got a chance, now do it."
Did you work in a hospital? Did you work in a private practice?
I worked in a hospital. I started as an LPN.
Okay.
And that was a 1-year course. And you did
it's interesting, isn't it?
8 months in the hospital. The first 4 months you did classroom, except half a day on Monday you went to the hospital.
Interesting.
And then the rest of the 8 months, when you walked in there, you'd have thought you were a seasoned nurse because they gave you an assignment
And there it is. You
all
did
the,
it. You were
all
on
the other
floor.
nurses, and I mean, it was like sink or swim.
Well, one of the things that was interesting about what we were talking about is the difference in education now. And how long have you been graduated?
With my nursing
Yes.
degree? I've been a nurse for almost 4 years, 4 years in June.
And what's interesting about you is the kind of nursing that you practice.
Yes, so I'm an ER nurse, but I'm also a traveling nurse.
And what does that mean?
So I guess that means you can travel internationally or nationally. Right now I'm nationally based. You just pick the city you want to go to, and you connect with a third-party company that connects you to all the different hospitals that have job openings at that time in that area, and interview and start your gig and work for about 13 weeks.
Is it fun?
It's awesome.
Well,
It's really
you know,
great.
going back to you as a chief nursing officer, when you look at the various subspecialties of nursing, it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. You really, there is no interchange. Probably back in my mother's day, you could pretty much kind of interchange, but the specialties, I mean, OB, surgical services, emergency department, med surg, critical care, they all are specialties in the hospital. But if you go outside the hospital, working as a nurse practitioner, or working in a cancer clinic, working in a hospice, a home health, they're all specialties.
Are you seeing as many men as women now in the nursing profession? Or at least is that growing?
It is growing.
It is growing.
Okay.
It is growing, but it is less than 10%. 10% or a little less in the nation.
One of the things that we talked about too was the evidence-based best practices that you all go through. It's a rigorous training, and I know at Beaufort Memorial, Pathways to Excellence, you've got some things to be very proud of here.
We do. We're actually in our redesignation year for the Pathway to Excellence program, which really is the framework for nursing. And once you achieve that status, which this will be our second redesignation after our achievement of the status, it basically says that it is the best environment for nurses to practice, where they have a voice in nursing, where they're able to participate in their policies and procedures. We have a shared governance model. And so for me, when you involve all the nursing staff, then the job becomes easier because their contributions are high and they know what they want. You know, they know the schedules they prefer. They know the policies and procedures and how they affect them. So when you get that involvement, it makes a huge difference.
Well, and especially when you have a voice. So you really are in tune with what the needs are, where the challenges are, where things are going well.
Right.
It's really, really impressive. Appreciate you all joining us today, again, here at Beaufort Memorial Hospital. And we thank you all for joining us here on Girl Talk. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.